What's going on, people? I hope everybody is cool, man. So real quick, I wanted to hop on here to let you guys know there was a test question that you can ask anybody, okay, to figure out if they have a bias or either some white supremacist views towards black people, okay? There was a test question. Before I let you all know what the question is, I want you all to check out this brief interview. Well, not an interview, rather this brief conversation that Tariq Nasheed had with a caller on his podcast. Now, during this conversation, Tariq Nasheed asked the caller, how did he feel about George Floyd's death? The caller said George Floyd died of fentanyl. I want you all to hear this brief discussion between Tariq Nasheed and this caller, and then I'm going to come back with my commentary. Check it out.
You familiar with the George Floyd case?
I am familiar with George Floyd. Okay. You and I probably look at it in two completely different views.
How do you look at it?
Well, so you have a gentleman who probably wasn't, given the life that we all wish that a person was given, and we can get into that if you want to.
Okay, let's
I think that
slow down.
That's probably the bigger subject.
Okay, let's make it plain. Let me make it real plain. How do you think George Floyd died? Was he killed or did he die of fentanyl?
Well, let's go to the autopsy. I think it's pretty clear he had drugs in the system. You're not going to deny that, right?
Did he get killed or did he die of fentanyl?
I don't think that you can conclusively say that he was killed. I think that a police officer was there to handle a situation, and I'm not.
That's why we're victims of white supremacy. You just did "I'm white and I say so." That's why we're victims of white supremacy.
I want to at least try to be clear that I'm not here to say that any police officer being rough with.
Thank you. That's all I want to know. See, family, that's all you got to ask. Just make it plain. That's it. When they do all of that, listen. I let them talk. We all in this together. We bleed the same blood, brother.
Okay, now you all just heard that, right? So the caller pretty much said that, George Floyd wasn't choked to death, but he died of fentanyl. I want you all to check out this other interaction that I came across on TikTok of a guy interviewing some Charlie Kirk fans about George Floyd. And he asked them, how did they feel about it? And I want you all to check out what they said in regards to the death of George Floyd. Check it out.
Like right after Charlie Kirk was killed, a lot of people were like, oh, people were like, quote unquote, people saying people were celebrating his death, quote unquote. Right. Yeah. So people were like, y'all need empathy. Like, y'all don't have enough empathy. That was kind of like the thing people kept talking about.
And the fact that people are celebrating is evil and nihilistic, it's not cool.
Because I know a lot of the same people who said it, like Charlie Kirk himself, right, lacked empathy when black people were murdered, like George Floyd was murdered. He definitely lacked empathy for his death. A lot of people did, I would say. Do y'all feel the same about people that were killed by the police?
It's a little bit different than when George Floyd was killed than when Charlie Kirk was killed. That's all I'll say on that.
What's the difference of if somebody died? Nonetheless, somebody was killed by another person.
Well, nobody deserves to be killed, obviously. Like with Charlie Kirk, I mean, he was representing Christianity. He was representing good things, and he was killed for his opinions at the end of the day, which isn't cool.
Do you feel like
George Floyd shouldn't have died? Obviously, he shouldn't have been killed. That was a terrible thing, but it's a little different situation.
There's a lot of
Okay, now you all just heard that, right? So pretty much everybody was dismissing George Floyd's death as a homicide and trying to say that it was fentanyl, drugs, okay? Listen. If you want to find out if somebody is biased or has white supremacist views towards black people, ask them, how did George Floyd die? Okay? If their answer is he died of fentanyl, then to me, that suggests, okay, they are pushing a narrative that dismisses police responsibility, right, and may reflect racial bias or alignment with white supremacist tropes. Okay? Why do I say that? Because When it comes to somebody saying that he died of fentanyl, we know the reality is there is a video of George Floyd being killed by Derek Chauvin. There is a video showing Derek Chauvin kneeling on the neck of George Floyd and back for several minutes, even after Floyd became limp and unresponsive. Right? Also, when it comes to the death of George Floyd, the official medical examiner's report in a subsequent independent autopsy ruled his death what? A homicide. A homicide. The autopsy was performed by Dr. Andrew Baker, who said the cause of death was restraint and neck compression. In other words, his heart and lungs stopped while he was being restrained under pressure to the neck and back. Right? In regards to the toxicology report, okay, the toxicology report notes that yes, the presence of fentanyl and methamphetamine were in his system, but it does not list overdose as the cause of death. The medical examiner in the case labeled the manner of death a homicide. At trial, Dr. Baker clarified that while underlying disease and drugs were noted, they were not the primary cause of the death of George Floyd. And these people will still sit up and tell you that it was fentanyl. It was fentanyl. This is how you know that these people have some sort of racial bias towards black people, right? The presence of fentanyl in his system is used by some to shift blame from police responsibility. They argue he died because of drugs, not because of policing. That narrative, anybody you hear saying that, listen, anybody you hear saying that George Floyd died of fentanyl, all right, that ignores the police responsibility. Everybody saw the tape. Everybody saw it. And they will still, it's like, what was going on during the tape? Why was he kneeling on his neck for so long? Oh, he was trying to restrain him. Okay, he's restrained. Why is he kneeling on his neck the second minute? Oh, he's trying to restrain him. What about the third minute? He's still trying to restrain him. What about the fourth minute? He's still trying to restrain him. He's moving. George Floyd shouldn't be moving. He shouldn't be fighting for his life. These people are insane to the membrane. Seriously, man. Seriously. So, if you ever want to figure out if somebody has white supremacist views or a bias towards black folk, ask them, how did George Floyd die? If someone first and confident answer is from a fentanyl overdose, that raises a red flag right there for me, because it signals acceptance of a narrative that erases the violence of police restraint, right? The evidence, video, medical examiner reports, independent autopsies, etc., would show his death was ruled a homicide caused by the cops. Okay? Not a primary drug overdose. So if someone insists he died of drugs, despite that evidence, that should suggest to you all that they are aligning with a worldview that devalues black people. And they are pushing a white supremacist trope. So if you want to figure out if somebody has white supremacy in them, ask them, how did George Floyd die? If they say fentanyl, you know right there, the person that you're talking to has a bias or some sort of demonic white supremacy against black folks. I'm gone. Peace.